something I would say that is important to everyone, right? How it can sometimes make you want to dance, but other times it just makes you want to curl in a ball and cry. Music has had an impact on every part of each and every one of our lives, from nursery rhymes to rock concerts as we get older. And well, for me, I've grown up listening to everything from Garth Brooks to U2 to Fleetwood Mac. And I'm here to tell you all that the 80s was the best decade for music to date. And it had the biggest impact on music for the next 30 years as well. The 80s changed music for the better because of MTV, multiple genres starting to go mainstream, and the Live Aid benefit concert. First, MTV aired and music became visual and viral. And then different styles of music started to make it to the mainstream. And then Live Aid showed the world that musicians could care and use their fame for good. So in 1981, music television aired with the words, "Ladies and gentlemen, rock and roll," and changed music forever. Suddenly, if artists wanted to make it, they had to learn to become visual performers and appeal to the TV and teen audience and not just be able to sound good on the radio. This gave everyone who wanted it a shot at stardom, though, because you didn't necessarily have to have talent. You could just look good performing and you could get on MTV. And then it started playing just whatever videos that record companies would give to them. They were just simple, like normally concert videos or something like that. But then the first video they played was "Video Killed the Radio Star." And I don't think anyone knew at the time how much of an impact that video would not only have and the truth that would come out of that. And according to Craig Marks, who wrote a history of MTV, MTV was strictly just rock and roll in the beginning. There was nothing else. And it was just bands like AC/DC, Aerosmith, Van Halen, which is a genre dominated by white men. And up until the mid-'80s, that's just how it was. It was just, MTV was known for and accused of being very whitewashed. But then in 1983, they aired the Billie Jean video, and ratings skyrocketed from there, and MTV finally realized they needed to cave and start playing more videos from black artists. And that led the way for Michael Jackson, Prince, Whitney Houston, and many other to get their time on MTV. So the 1983 Billie Jean video didn't just pave the way for black artists, but it paved the way for different genres as well. Rock music had been dominating the mainstream music scene, and that was all really beginning to change. And so that really started with the king of pop, Michael Jackson, and he gave us the hits like Billie Jean and Thriller, and that eventually led the way for Prince and Madonna to make their impact on the pop scene as well. The editors of Rolling Stone in 1989 released an article of their favorite albums of the 80s. And it transformed from rock to everything. It still includes rock stars like The Clash, but now you have synth pop of David Bowie and the beginnings of rap with bands like Run DMC. All of these styles were new, dramatic, and why the 80s became so diverse. There was a genre for every mood, every event, and every person. And now that pop stars were on the rise, they realized they could do some good with their fame as well. Bob Geld's Live Aid concert was a huge event. Not only was it raising money for the Ethiopian famine, but it kickstarted many other musicians' careers as well. Live Aid was broadcasted to over 1 billion people, which was a fourth of the population on Earth at that time. It was in London and Philadelphia, and it featured bands like Queen, who was already very well known and very famous at the time, but also it kickstarted careers of people like U2 and Madonna, who were already known but became huge world stars after the event. And besides just being a huge event for music, it raised $125 million as well. And also it came out with everyone's favorite Christmas song, "Do They Know It's Christmas Time?" It's my favorite Christmas song anyway. But all of these things just prove how much the 80s had an impact on the world of music then and now. The 80s were phenomenal. I didn't even get to mention bands or trends like the new wave, hair bands, and how women were finally able to shine. However, MTV was the beginning of a musical revolution. Who knows where music would be today without music television, and how it got black artists, women, and different genres on the music scene as well. These different genres were able to pave the way for many new things like the grunge of the 90s, the punk rock of the 2000s, and the rap that dominates mainstream music today. So, in conclusion, the 80s were just the best. Nothing that we know about music would be the same today if it were not for that decade. Thank you.